I hope y'all are doing well. There's a holiday season. I know it can be very stressful for people. I know all sorts of shit can make it go right or wrong, but I hope you and yours are doing fantastic. I apologize in like concept, but not in actuality. Like I can't be sorry for it for a couple reasons. It's weird. I hate that December is such a fucking monster on my show scheduling consistency because it makes consistency is what sells tickets, so to speak. It's what gets people to streams. And I do try to be consistent throughout the year as much as possible. This year has turned into a colossal clusterfuck in a lot of ways that, they just are. It's not like they're neutral. Like they just exist. Some of the reasons have been really good. I had a lot of fun, trips to go see people and go see things. Going to Mar-a-Lago was awesome. Doing my live shows in Vegas and Nashville were great fucking experiences, but they're very disruptive to the show and stuff like that. So they're, dings to the consistency there. And those are positive ones, but there have been really negative dings too, where, life fucking comes at you sometimes, man. And, there were times where I was dealing with some really dark bullshit in real life. And I could not come on and fake a smile some nights. And it's like, I don't like to fake shit. I really don't. I try to bring you guys just me. And I know that bothers people because I'm like an asshole. But I'm always an asshole with the best nature in mind. I don't want to fuck anybody over. I don't want to ruin anybody's day. Like I might laugh at you or laugh at your thing, but it's like I'm laughing. I'm not trying to cause you harm or distress. It's just sometimes you get in a shitty situation. People laugh at me all the time. Good. Like that's what I'm here for. I'm here for your entertainment. Hopefully it's because I create it, but sometimes my dumb antics create it in ways that are unexpected. I hate when people we all hate when people lie about us or create some fiction and it's done for the purpose of harm. I try not to do that in any way. Like I give you guys my genuine opinions on shit. Now, do those genuine opinions, can they be harmful to people? Yeah, absolutely. If some people are awful people and deserve some ridicule. But I try to be pretty good natured, but that doesn't mean I'm immune from criticism or critique. I just always want the criticism and critique to be based on the actual story. Cause usually, guys, look at me. Look at me. Like take a look. I'm a goofy, silly motherfucker who does dumb things. And I've lived a long time and I've created this insulated space where I get to be that. Most of the shit I do is retarded enough to make fun of. You don't have to add a context to it. But some people do, and there's no avoiding it. Like there's no avoiding it. There's no correcting it. Some people just do. But some of that shit does suck, usually because it has a ripple effect on other people, but it's part of the game, I guess. So you can't get too worked up about it. But that being said, like I'm here I'm here for your entertainment. Is that an Adam Lambert song? That's gay. Literally. But it's like mostly at the end of the day, I want people to be happy. I want them to get something out of the show. Sometimes it's me being a retard and them getting to benefit from it, and that's fine. That's an okay thing. But there are times that come at you that are really actually dark. And for people who are watching and observing online, you see like some things and you see internet drama, and then there's like real shit in your life that's happening, and people like commingle those because like, oh, this internet drama is a thing that's occurring. This person is also in a dark place, and they assume that they must be intertwined because those are the things that happen. And the internet is not completely separated from real life, right? Like there are things that overlap and they definitely impact everything you do. There's no anybody who tells you otherwise, like, oh, all internet stuff will never impact you. No, it will. It absolutely will. Often in unexpected ways, both good and bad. That's what you sign up for. But there's also just real life that happens to coincide with internet shit. And they'll make their determinations. There's no way you can fix them or whatever. But you do run into this thing where life is real and you have to confront it. And sometimes it confronts you with a kick to the fucking testicles. And that has caused some, some inconsistency with the show as well. That's what you get. Live streaming all the time with no, like, I don't like bringing, you can, the radio, right? Like Rush or Glenn Beck, if they were going to go on vacation or if they were going to miss a show, there's a stand-in. The show has to happen and a stand-in happens. They don't care what happens to viewership. They don't care if other people like don't watch it because the show is still happening. And the audience may be down to 20% of what it normally is because they're like, oh, this isn't Rush or whatever. But it doesn't matter. The consistency of the show has its own intrinsic value. I don't have that. I could probably find someone to do it, but I'm a non-trusting cunt. So I don't ever do that. So if I cancel a show, it's going to just be canceled. And sometimes you cancel a show because real shit is real and you have to deal with it. And that's happened a lot this year. This year has not been universally positive, but in a weird way, right? In a weird way, even though this year has had a lot of pitfalls, it's been one of the craziest but best years of my life. And it's been one of the worst. How do you reconcile that? I don't know. I don't understand it. I have gone through literal months of borderline. I'm really narcissistic. Not really. I like to say that, but to be honest, I don't think I'm actually narcissistic. I have tried to be, and I don't. I'm close. I have a lot of narcissistic tendencies. But maybe I'm sure someone would diagnose me there, but I don't know that it'd be 100% right. But I will admit tons of narcissistic tendencies. But I think the more accurate depiction is I have such a fucking high level of contentment and joy and such a lack of need. Like I have a lot of wants, I have a lot of desires, and I have a lot of things that I like to do that can generate fun. But joy isn't fun. I have such a high level of joy in my life and contentment that I have trouble remaining mad. And so how to translate this into what I mean is simple. I don't need to be much more than what I am. I've achieved mind-blowing success for whatever I thought I was going to be ever, beyond any dream or fantasy I've ever had. I've done all that. And I'm also married to a beautiful woman for 19 years who I love tremendously. And I have 5 children who consistently blow me away. Like they are the most amazing humans I've ever met. All of them in their own ways. And I'm like, how did these things come from this? Like that doesn't make any sense because they're so much funnier, more interesting, smarter, better people than I am. And so I look at that. I have all my basic needs met. My family's basic needs are met. It's hard to be mad at life for too long. Now, it's not hard to be mad at life. Nothing solves other problems and other issues, and things can always come up, but it's hard to not have joy and contentment. I don't want much more. I don't want to be a Hollywood actor. I don't want to be a musician or a rock singer or something like that. I don't know where you go from here. Like, I don't care if I ever grow like super far beyond what I've achieved. I'm happy to be me, whatever that is, grow, remain static, lose a little, grow. But like this fluctuation on social media is fine. And if this all goes away tomorrow, I guess I go and, reopen the law office and get back to the grind. Like you can do that. I don't know. I don't know what happens. I don't really care. I love my job and I'd like to do this forever. I think I've created a system where even if I colossally fuck up, I can probably skirt by, we'll say skirt by and do okay. Who knows though? The future is unpredictable and my life has always been unpredictable in that way. But because of that, I've learned to embrace the Christian concept of joy and contentment. And that's true. It's a truly Christian a truly Christian concept that your faith in God or Christ or whatever it is sustains that your acquisition of grace gives you leeway to fail. And the realization that wherever you are materially in the world is a temporary position, whether it's up or down. I've been through all of them. I've been through poverty. I've been through excess, and I'm comfortable in all of them with what I have. And what I have is family. Now, obviously, things can happen to your family. You hate to consider the worst, right? Like some sort of unexpected deaths or something like that. Those are always a possibility. You can never ignore them. But outside of those sort of wild cards, I have joy and contentment. And so despite the fact, this is all going back to, I was going to say that this year has brought me to points of considering, like self-deletion, but it actually hasn't. I may have been closer to the concept than ever at certain points where things would just pile up and seem like they weren't going to go away. But I can't fathom doing that to my children. I cannot do it. I would stick around through the worst. I like myself a little too much. That's why I joke towards narcissism, but it really isn't that. I go, well, I have grace. So if I fuck up, I can fall back on grace. And I have contentment knowing that I have created these things, half created. Lady Racket's the other half, obviously, or probably like 3/4 or whatever, women. I've created these things. And even if I were to somehow fuck all of that up, I have made something better than myself. And I haven't come anywhere near fucking all that up. So how could I not, after an initial reaction of some sort of emotion, troll back towards joy and contentment? And that's what ends up happening. So even though I've been through some really fucking dark times this year, unexpectedly, and out of nowhere, related to shit that you'd never expect, you're like, what? I said unexpectedly, but also related to circumstances you can't have foreseen. That's more appropriate, I guess. You still go back to joy because that shit's always temporary. It always is. And I want to put that out there. Like, guys, that is always fucking temporary. And that's why I think self-deletion, you can make jokes about it or whatever, but the reality of it is whatever you're facing, it is not worth that. Your life has merit. It has value. And you have to find those things in your life that bring you to serenity and to joy and to peace. And you have to start devaluing the things that bring you to the dark places. So for me, in summary, 2023 has been this year that has been simultaneously the highest I can imagine and also the lowest at points. And yet that bipolar nature just puts me at this place of realizing that the contentment that I've had for well over a decade now, I don't have this right away in my life, but well over a decade now, has been sustained. And I can't turn back from that. I can't eschew my blessings, and I can't look back on life and think that I've gone to a bad place or come to a bad place based on my decisions, which means if you're here, if you're where you are and you're where you are or where you're going to end up are good, then ultimately your failures are not failures so much as speed bumps. They're roadblocks that you've had to navigate around. They're detours in your life, and you will have those. But if you look at them as absolute negatives rather than just delayed positives, reframe your thoughts, because there's time. There's tons of time. And I always want to be encouraging to people because I do get those messages where, hey man, I'm thank you for your show, but I gotta go. I got to go from this world. There's nothing left for me. And you're like, no, there is. Please. Don't do it. So it's like, it's wild. 2023 has been that year for me. I hope 2024 has less of the lows, more of the highs. But this all came from the idea of like inconsistency of the show. I hate it. I hate December in that way, but it's really turning out to be a great cap off to the year. So I'm looking for something to fuck myself up before the 31st, right? Like something's got to go wrong. We'll figure it out. But yeah, man, life is what it is. enjoy it. Because if you don't, you're going to be here for a while. It's going to suck the whole time if you're not enjoying it. So hopefully I can be encouraging to some people on that, because I can legitimately tell you that I've gone through some really dark shit this year. And at the end of the day, you either have the benefit that you've created in your life, or you have the potential to create benefit beyond your lows. And you do. But you have to stop listening to other people's values of you. You have to embrace your own value. And it could be on a very long timeline. Guys, I wasn't particularly successful in my life until I was about 35, 36. Doing the grind that everybody else does isn't ever what I wanted to do. But I was resigned to do it because I had a family. And maybe that's what you're doing for now. Maybe that's what you're doing forever. But go fucking get your value out of life somewhere. It may not be economic, it may not be monetary, but it may simply be that you bring value into the life of a woman or a man, depending on your preferences and gender and all that shit, and the lives of children around you. And not in the Jared Fogle way, but in the way of a parent. And if you're able to instill that value in them, your value, your worth is multiplied far beyond any economic impact that you may have. So there's my gay fucking shit for the year. Now I'll go suck a bunch of dicks just to make up for that. Sorry. But sometimes you got to talk about real shit for just a minute.